Cheesy gave us a bit of a history lesson on computers to help put things into perspective for us. Back in the day, computing was the realm of the IBM System 360 mainframe computer. That was the world of big data in those days, and it spoke languages like Fortran, COBOL and PL1, which all ran under the IBM System 360 operating system. People scheduled time months in advance to have their programs run on the computer like they wait in line today for big nuclear reactors around the world. Eventually, smaller computers appeared on the scene in an attempt to decentralize. They were running on the AS400 platform, utilizing the Unix operating system, which allowed multiple users to have input to a minicomputer from terminals connected. Those minicomputers could in turn communicate with Big Blue, the IBM mainframe. For local office needs, a word processing machine was invented by Dr. Wang and was referred to as the Wang word processor. A basic machine with primitive word processing software to replace the typewriter. As with the Avro airplane on world markets, Canada had an entry in the field of word processing as well. It was known as the AES data machine, which Cheesy would have said was the best word processor. IBM was ready to launch their personal microcomputer featuring the Intel 8088 processor with a mighty 512K of RAM memory, but it lacked software applications to run on it. Programs required an operating system platform they could attach themselves to, which would handle all the input and output requirements. That's when IBM hired an outside consultant by the name of Bill Gates to create PC-DOS for them. They would then have a platform that would allow developers to create software for their computers, and hopefully only their computers. Apple, who had focused on the Motorola 64000 processor, decided to write their own operating system and keep it in-house to remain proprietary. In retrospect, it was the only thing that kept them alive. Once Mr. Bill finished with the PC-DOS version of his operating system, he passed it over to IBM, collected the largest software check in history, and then immediately released his own MS-DOS version of the same product under his own name, Microsoft. That allowed anyone with a motherboard and a Phoenix ROM BIOS chip to build their own computer clone which could run the same application software as the IBM computers on the Intel 8088. The market exploded. Everyone took advantage of Mr. Bill's larceny. I wonder what the development costs of MS-DOS were to Mr. Bill, or did IBM pick up most of the bill and none of the intellectual property rights? Whatever they were, it surely gave rise to one of the highest return on investments ever recorded in human history for Mr. Bill. At least since Isabella took a chance on young Christopher. Computers under any version of DOS could only run one application at a time, and that eventually became a bottleneck for power users. Power users would use a spreadsheet, a word processor, and if they were really good, a database. As software evolved, so did the operating system. Finally, with the introduction of Windows 3.1, the promise of multitasking was delivered, and users found themselves running more than one program simultaneously. Windows also finally brought the mouse to the Intel world as an input device from the Motorola Apple world. From there, computers connected to local area networks to communicate with each other within a corporate structure, and eventually wider area networks and bulletin boards begat the Internet through the university crowd. Data could move around the world in large streams, but we still need large computers like the Cray to execute applications that manage databases with billions of fields, billions of records, and terabytes of memory requirements. Errol ended the conversation with, "Interesting. Too bad everything hasn't evolved that quickly."